hackstab / your horror movie podcast.
Welcome back, hackstab / boy, oh boy, do I have a movie for you. This one is Justin's pick. Justin has been ranting and raving about this movie since he came out of the womb. And yes, he is like 40 fucking something years old. He's 40, closer to 41 than he is 40. I'll put that out there. But when I say came out the womb, this man came out the womb and was like, not going down.
Let's go.
How we doing, Justin? How you feeling, brother?
Well, we're on day 3 of the flu, but hey, Michael Jordan did a flu game, so this is going to be my flu game of my flu podcasting game. And like you said, I'm not going to miss the Tucker and Dale one, so I may look like shit, sound like shit, feel like shit, but you know what's not shit? Tucker and Dale, and I'm super excited to talk about it.
Hell yeah, let's go, dude. Pull your bootstraps up, have some Flutie Pebbles, and let's get into this. What were your expectations, Justin, on this rewatch? Because I'm pretty sure you saw this movie before it was even written.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember when I first heard about this. I saw it on so many people's lists of movies to watch. And I remember when I first watched it, I was instantly in love with this. I mean, this movie is made for me. Absolutely love it. So I was so excited to finally do it for the pod. I think I've been talking about this, has been on our list since we created the pod, like, I don't know, 1 or 2 years ago. So excited to do it. And I maybe loved it even more.
So when you first saw this, Justin, and the opening credits started, did you feel like a warm ray of sunshine on the back of your neck in that song from like Sheryl Crow that goes like, I don't want to wait for our lives to be over?
You nailed it. That exact song was going.
That exact scene played out in your life, word for word. It was completely unintentional, dude. Your mom put on her iPod and then opened up her window curtains to clean the house, and you were just like, this is magical.
How are we sounding like this? That was wild. That was wild to pull that out.
It's story time, dude. My expectations, though, were extremely high because, like I said, Justin holds this movie in such a high standard that there was no way I wasn't going to love this.
Have you seen this? Is this your first time?
No, this is my first time.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, dude. So when it comes to like a horror comedy, my man, you do not know every single movie out there, but I will give you this. Every movie you have ever suggested in the horror comedy. Holy crap! Oh my god, bro, you haven't missed. I will give you that. You have not missed. You are batting 1,000 right now, so I cannot wait to get into this to see where it goes.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that.
And so we get some found footage right off the rip, and I'm like, oh, this is why Justin fucking loves it. And it goes right into like some burnt-faced, two-faced, Batman character just killing those two kids right up, just done. He said, fuck your investigative journalism. See you later. Adios. Bon voyage. We get 3 days earlier, though. So this is in the future. And this story takes place in the past. And we meet a group of college kids who they're going out for a camping trip, maybe, smoke some weed, have some coitus, do all the typical tropes that you get in a horror movie. And as they're driving, they almost hit this truck on the side of the road. I don't know what the fuck it's doing there. I still don't understand that whole scene, but they swerve out of the way because they're not paying attention. And then you hear, we're in the the backwoods. We're going to be hillbillies. Like just a couple of kids having some fun. Someone in the truck goes, well, hurry up, dude. They're going to pass us. And these guys speed up on the left and they're both looking at them, not paying attention. And it's Tucker and Dale, but they're giving him the creepy stare down, like they know something's gonna happen in this group. This shit happens all the time to tourists, but they're not gonna say nothing because fuck them kids. Then they pull up to a gas station to refill, and this scene gave me very Cabin in the Woods vibes. I don't know if it did for you. Yeah,
yes, like Chainsaw Massacre, Cabin in the Woods, like all those tropes. Like,
dude, Hills Have Eyes, everything.
Yeah, love it.
Oh, whenever you get a gas station scene at the beginning of the movie, there's going to be some crazy ass gory scenes coming up after this.
Oh, we've seen it 100 times, and I love it every single time. Like it just House of Wax. I mean, there's so many of them.
And these kids go inside to like start. They're looking for beer because they forgot the beer. But these fucking hillbillies don't even speak English when these kids are around. It sounds like they're grunting. They got mouths full of tobacco. It's very disturbing, disgusting. But then we see almost immediately as these kids start to dissipate, you hear perfect English come out of these guys' mouths. He's like, oh, so that's what you get in there? Some roundhouse, not some hammers. You need some nails. You got some beer. Like a grocery list read in perfect English. But when these kids close in, it's like, it's like they're talking to Boomhauer. These kids make their way outside. They're packing up to get ready to go. And we see Tucker, he starts giving a pep talk to Dale, who's absolutely in love with one of these girls, and it's the one right on Justin's shoulder. He is in love with her. He's like, I've never seen something so beautiful in my gosh dang life. Tucker's like, Dale, don't give them the time of day. They're just regular college kids. There's probably a dozen of them on campus. But he gives him a pep talk to go over there and talk to him. And so he does. And this motherfucker walks over there and he's got a scythe in his hands. And he's got a mouthful of eggs. And he's making himself look like an absolute maniac. Because what does he say? He's like, y'all up here to do some fishing?
Dude, the nervous laugh with eggs in your mouth, holding a scythe, trying to break the ice with a girl is wild, and I'm here for it. Love it.
And this kid, Chad, like Jackie Chan, Kung Fu Panda, like jumps in front of him. Is like, hey, man, we don't want no trouble. Wah, wah, wah. Get back in your truck. And he's like, okay, man, no problem. See ya. See you later. Tucker and Dale are driving to their vacation home. It's what they keep calling it. It's a fixer-upper. But they do get pulled over by the sheriff, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
And this fucking scene, these guys are drinking and driving because you're in the backwoods. There ain't no real rules out here. They're drinking and driving. And I think Tucker says something along the lines of like, hey, if you want it, you got to go get it. It's just not going to fall into your lap. And as he says that, man drops a PBR into his lap. And he's like, oh, shit. He's like, we're getting pulled over. And he's like, looking, he's like, I spilt my beer. And Dale's being a good friend. He's like, oh, don't worry, I got it. And he reaches down to, I assume, grab the can so it's not there when the sheriff pulls him over. And he gets stuck under the steering wheel. So it looks like he's giving Tucker some head. Yep. He looks like he got a mouthful of Tucker's tuck, if you know what I'm saying. This sheriff walks up, knocks on the window, and just as he knocks on the window, Dale gets his head free. And I didn't know getting your head stuck in another man's lap results in you losing your shirt. But dude, now he's got no fucking shirt.
That was my favorite thing ever. That he pulls his head back up and his shirt falls off. Oh my god!
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
So good.
And then just the way Tucker even talks to the sheriff, he's like, yeah, he's been striking out with the ladies, so I figured a little man time up in the cabin. And I'm like, you sound so. This is how you have conversations, Justin.
I know.
There was no gay instance in this entire interaction, but everything radiated like sucking a dick.
Yeah. Yep.
But I'm not saying that you know, but yeah. Your bananas in the morning sometimes get a little questionable.
Look, I have to eat my potassium. It's not my fault people make it awkward.
Right. But this whole interaction finally stops, you know, thank God, because they make it to the cabin. They walk in and they're like, oh, it's a fixer-upper. And Dale's like, this is a mansion. I am thoroughly impressed. There is dead animal skulls everywhere and all kinds of like weird trinkets, like an Evil Dead cabin.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure this was the Evil Dead cabin.
Right.
But he's like, oh, these guys must have been famous. Must have been like archaeologists or something. And they're touching. I'm pretty sure it's human remains. They're like hitting them because they're like set up as like those baby things you hang over like the crib.
Dream catchers or something?
With all the toys on it.
Yeah, the toys hanging. Yeah.
They're like slapping. It looks like rib bones. They're slapping it around, and then we see a wall, and this wall is covered head to toe in nothing but newspaper clippings of all the murders and slayings in the area. But these two fucking knuckleheads zoom in and focus in, and they're like, "Oh look, Chubby's Chili Dog Depot. Buy two get one free, no expiration. I love this." Super excited.
Love it.
We now go back to Jason, who I call AKA Little Baby Devontae Adams. He looks like Devontae Adams.
All right, fair enough.
He's roasting a wiener and he's asking the group a serious question. Much like Justin, he wants to know if you have a recurring dream about sucking a dick, but you've never actually sucked one. Does that make you gay? And I was like, not saying you would ask this question, but
I was just gonna say, what the
this question would be asked to you. And you would be Chad in this situation where you go, yeah, and then quickly change the subject.
Right.
He starts telling them the story about the Memorial Day massacre. And this story and the way they do the killings in this flashback scene, I wish they would have made like a full short movie Like, I am here for this. The killings were brutal. The way he drags the saw blade behind his neck and cuts himself before he like fucking ninja star throws it through that dude's head.
Crazy.
Loved it. I think they were playing Salt and Pepper. They were all like dancing and jamming, and these fucking
Yup.
hillbillies walk up and they change it with another cassette, and all you hear is "Today you're gonna meet your maker," and it's like I was like, this is so fitting for music. I have no idea what it is,
So good.
but that whole flashback scene was great. But this flashback scene is interrupted by Todd, and he lets the group know, "Hey, I found a lake. Should we all go skinny dipping?" And immediately every guy says yes. You let the girls make that decision. You do not jump in, hogs out. No.
Right? Yeah, play
No.
it cool first, guys. Play it cool.
Let the women go first. That way there, they don't feel pressured. Tucker and Dale just happen to be fishing at the same lake at the same exact time as the skinny dipping scene. They start to see Allison. She's standing on this big-ass rock. She starts to strip. Dale, being a nice guy, covers his eyes because he doesn't want to look like a peeping Tom. He doesn't want to see nothing. He's very polite. Tucker, on the other hand, is like, shut the fuck up. I'm going to look at this. And you hear Dale go, Tucker. And this spooks Allison. She looks at them. They all scream. She slips, smashes her head on a rock, goes unconscious. These guys do the gentleman thing. They rush over there to try and save her. They save her. And in the process, these college kids see all of this happening. They're pulling her limp body out of the lake and onto the boat. And I believe it's Dale stands up and he's like, hey, we got your friend. And it's very polite. It's very nice. It's like a, hey, like something's going on. And these kids freak the fuck out. And they just take off. Like they think they're killing Allison. When in actuality, Tucker and Dale bring her back to the cabin. These college kids just sprint back to their campsite. Chad says, they stole Allison. Like everything is just going off the rails right now for no fucking reason. And Allison is even kind of on the college kid sign at this point because she wakes up and we see Dale come from a side room with the tray, smoky background, creepy as fuck. This is like a hunting cabin. It is setting the scene, Justin, right now for him to like look like a maniac. And she just starts freaking the fuck out. Please don't kill me. Like she is bawling, bro. Like her heart is in her fucking chest, dude, beating at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And dude, Dale panics and he's like, oh God, you don't like pancakes? Okay, I'll get rid of the pancakes. I'll make you something different. And he scurries out of the room and shuts the door to go cook her something else. Chuck tells the group that he actually saw Tucker or Dale eating Allison's face off.
Yeah, what the hell?
It is wild how crazy stories can just evolve. So they all take Chuck at his word, and this group decides we're going to try and save her. Even if she's already been eaten, we have to try to save her. They send Chuck for help because he's a bitch while they do this, and he's like, well, it's my daddy's truck, and he said no one else can drive it. And then we see Dale comes back with bacon and eggs. Allison is starting to calm down, and they kind of go over everything that happened. And he's just glad that she likes bacon and eggs and doesn't hate pancakes as much. Like Dale is, dude, he is a gentle giant, a giant sweetheart right now. And we go back to this college group, and Mitch draws the short straw. He is chosen to go solo to try to save Allison from this cabin, which is a dumbass idea because if all this is true, it's 2 on like 7. Every one of you just bum rush the fucking cabin.
Right?
The girls save Allison, the guys take on the guys. Done. There's
Terrible
no other.
plan.
There's no
Terrible.
let's draw straws and send the one guy who's fucking scared shitless to go in there.
Awful plan.
Mitch does head to the cabin, and we simultaneously see Tucker starting a chainsaw, and he's trying to cut up a fallen tree. They got like a wood chipper back there. He's trying to do some work on the property, make it look pretty. Tucker's dumb ass, though, saws directly into a beehive. And this sends him sprinting towards this group, trying to flee the bees while using the chainsaw as a weapon. I've never thought chainsaw versus bees was a good idea, but clearly I have never seen the sequel to Zombiever, which is Zombies. So I don't know how that happens or if it's effective or not.
Dude, how good was the scene when they were running? Like, tell me how great this freaking scene
love
was.
it so much because it is clearly a nod to Texas Chainsaw. But oh my God, bro. Him sprinting full on through the woods,
Dude,
waving that chainsaw, making eye contact with
that
Mitch the whole time.
so good.
And what happens to Mitch, Justin?
Dude, he should not. I mean, that tree, this dude runs and gets impaled. This freaking tree was just pointed straight at him. But how cool it looked is you just see him like, oh, and just get stuck and just impaled, and his arms are straight out. And you just see freaking Tucker just keep running.
The wild
Crazy.
part is, too, is I feel like Mitch knows that Tucker wasn't trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Because after he gets killed, dude, and he sees the bee buzzing,
Hmm.
it's like, oh, he was running from bees.
Yep. B just lands on his head, like insult to injury. Just, oh.
Dale is killing Allison. Not literally, but at a trivia game in the cabin. Tucker comes back covered head to toe in bee stings. And he tells Allison, hey, I saw your friends, but they all ran away from bees. They must have been super allergic because one of them was running real fast. They do offer to go out and look for her friends while she rests up. They almost insist that she stay in the cabin, even though she looks like she's almost back to 100% health. They go out, they start wandering around in the woods, and Dale decides to let Tucker do the talking. But Tucker is covered in bee stings. He's been drinking all day. He has got a full tin of tobacco in his mouth, and all you hear is, okay, hey the car keys, hey the car keys. I had no fucking idea what he was saying.
Same.
They're saying, hey, college kids. They're like chanting, and these college kids are like 2 feet away. And they see them talking, and Dale even says something along the lines of, yeah, when I get back there, I'm going to finish killing her. I'm going to beat her real good. And he's talking about the trivia game, but these college kids have no idea about that. They think he's just going to finish her off. They can't find her friends, so they decide to leave a note. And what better way to leave a note in the woods than to pick up the axe you found randomly stuck in a tree and use it to carve a note into a log. And all it says is, we have your friend. These
So
college kids take it as a declaration of war. They start making their way to the cabin, and they see Dale. He's out back digging a shithole for the outhouse. Allison had even offered to help him, and she's helping him dig this hole. But from the college kid's perspective, Justin,
yeah.
this looks like he's making Allison dig her own grave. This movie is just, it's off the rails, and I am so here for this.
And it's just gonna get crazier.
My son started watching it with me, and I had to
Yeah.
explain to him that the premises of this movie is
Yeah.
there is no actual killer right now.
Right.
These two are actually good guys, but they're painted as killers.
Yep.
And every time a scene like this pops up, he'd look at me and go, so did they turn evil yet? And I'm like, they're not evil. He's like,
Love
but
it.
it's in the name title.
Love it.
The group devises a plan, and they want to attack Tucker and Dale. Dale actually sees Todd, and he goes, hey, there's your friends. And as Allison turns, she sees Todd charging at him full speed. And she tells him to kind of like watch out, like, hey, watch out. And as he spins, he knocks her ass out accidentally. And I say accidentally in full capital letters, with a shovel. She falls into the ditch. Dale falls into this ditch as well. But this kid, Todd, that was charging them, comes into the ditch. And that spear he had sticks into the ground, missing Dale, and goes right through Todd. And he slow motion slides over this fucking thing, just pouring blood all over Dale. And Dale is freaking the fuck out.
Another crazy scene. Yep.
We get Mitch, and Mitch is a fucking idiot too. His target is Tucker, and Tucker is doing nothing but taking piles of chopped up wood and throwing them in this wood chipper. And he bends over at the right fucking time, because when he bends over, Mitch comes at him with like a screwdriver and dives at him like an idiot. And when he dives, Tucker ducks, and he dives headfirst into the fucking wood chipper machine. And this thing just sprays blood and guts all over Chloe.
So gory.
So much blood. Covers her. She takes off running. Dale wants to call the cops, and Tucker says no, because this looks really bad. What are we gonna say? Hey, we've had a hell of a day, officer. These college kids, we was up here minding our own business, and these dang college kids came up here in some kind of suicide pact and started killing themselves all over my properties.
Dude, it's my favorite explanation like ever in a movie that he says that to the cop. Like it is so friggin' awesome. My
Dude.
God.
And he's like, no, we can't say that. He's like, we got to clean this up. Quick, I think it's a suicide pact. Hide all the sharp objects. Like the way they think is just comical in itself.
So good.
So they elect not to call the cops and they start cleaning shit up. Chad, the I don't like this character at all. I fucking
Same.
hated him from the get-go. Anyone that pops their collar in a movie deserves to die.
Yep.
This dude is going off the deep end. The group wants to leave, but Chad wants to stay and fight. He calls this some kind of lawless county where it's us against them. And this is where like boys become men. And he gives them like this whole speech about like, oh, you're lucky. And they're like, what, lucky not to be dead right now? And he's like, no, not many people get this opportunity. And I'm like, this dude is fucking
Psychopath.
psycho.
Absolute psychopath.
And then we hear sirens go off in the distance, and everyone runs towards the siren but Chad. The whole group flags down the cops. The sheriff pulls up and he tells them all, get in the Jeep. We'll go to the house. We're going to rescue your friend. These guys have the absolute worst fucking luck in the world. As they're like unwedging this dead kid from the wood chipper, the fucking cop shows up while they're walking away with his body dragging a foot each. Worst idea in the world. You should have never have touched that body.
I also love how I think Tucker's randomly like, this guy's really heavy for only having being half of him.
Yeah, he
Dude.
calls him heavy for being half a body.
So funny.
I also like when this cop shows up and he starts questioning them. Was it Dale? Hasn't
Mhm.
dropped the foot yet. He's
Yeah.
still holding the
He's
leg.
holding it in his hands.
So the cop is questioning them and he doesn't believe their story because guess what? Tucker tries to spin the, hey, sheriff, we've had one heck of a day. Like the exact story he said was not going to be believable. And when he finishes his explanation almost word for word, the cop goes, what do you think I am? Some kind of a fucking moron?
But what does Dale say? Like, oh, wait,
he's
but
like,
we got another
wait.
girl in the...
He's like, we got their friend. And he's like, you do? And he's like, yeah, she can correlate it. She's unconscious in my bed, in my bedroom. And you can see Tucker just going, shut the fuck up. You sound so bad right now. So they elect to bring this cop into the cabin and they're going to bring him to Allison. When they go into the cabin, this man leans against that unsturdy beam. And when he hits this beam, bro, it is just their luck. This support beam is loose and dangerous, and he gets nail riddled by the fucking 2x4 right into the head. Talk about a headache, Justin.
Dude, so bad. This thing literally like impales his face. And my favorite thing is he walks out. He's stumbling out. Thank you. He's stumbling out to the car where all the kids are. And I'm pretty sure you hear Tucker and saying, oh, like, man, yeah, he'll be fine. Like, look at, he's just walking it off. And the guy grabs the mic, the walkie-talkie to try to call him, and he just collapses dead. Quick thinking, though, one of the kids, he grabs the cop's gun, obviously pretty smart. He goes pointing it at Tucker and Dale, and he goes to shoot them. The gun is not working. But Dale, being such a nice guy, he literally tells him, hey, yeah, you gotta turn the safety off. The safety's on. You gotta turn the safety off. And Tucker kind of look at him like, Dale, what are you doing? So the kid literally he turns the gun to himself. Obviously, he's never shot a gun before.
He starts fucking waving it.
Yeah, he's like waving the gun and it like turns to himself and the safety goes off. And he shoots himself right in the friggin' head. Blood all over everywhere.
I'm just gonna put this out there, Justin.
Yeah.
My 6-year-old was watching this and he goes, you never point a gun at yourself.
I was gonna say, thank you. I'm pretty sure even 6-year-olds should understand that from watching anything. Don't point a gun at your head. But then we see Chad, the psycho kid. He was hiding outside. He runs and he grabs the gun. He starts blasting at him. He does it right. So they are shooting. Tucker and Dale run inside right now, and they are just panicking what to do because there is just bullets flying through the cabin. And then
I love how they like stay low and they like flounder fish over each other. It's the way they move on the ground is fucking hilarious.
It is that's the thing. This movie, talking about it doesn't even do it justice because there's so many funny one-liners and just the mannerisms of Tucker and Dale, which make it so good. But they also realize, oh shit, like they got Dale's dog. And they look outside and like, oh shit, he's pointing the gun at the dog. So they get the nail gun, they plug this nail gun and everything, and they're going to create a divergence. So now Dale is firing the friggin' nail gun at them, and Tucker sneaks outside around the back. He's going to go free the dog. So they are exchanging fire now. There's complete just shooting it, and we see Tucker. He frees the dog, but then they look at it. He's caught by them. Well, not caught yet. They notice him, and he runs for his life. So now we have the 4 remaining kids all chasing Tucker, and Chad actually ends up catching him. And you see him. He literally hangs him upside down with a rope. Meanwhile, in the cabin, we see Allison awakes again from her second concussion. Someone, for the love of God, please get this girl a doctor because she has taken so many headshots. And she's having a conversation with Dale, and he's like explaining, he's like, yo, look, your friends are trying to kill everyone. And she's basically like, wait, what?
There's got to
No,
be
no.
a misunderstanding.
Yeah, she's like, says it's going to be a misunderstanding. Like, so they go aside to look, and they find like a message and like something like wrapped up. And they open it, and it is 2 of Tucker's freaking fingers. When they were hanging upside down, they chopped off Tucker's fingers. This is getting some pretty freaking crazy right now.
It's got a
So
note too that says like, "We have your friend. Try and save him," or something like that.
yeah, so the stakes are starting to get raised now because I mean we got people missing fingers, and now we see Allison and Dale. They have a real nice talk and everything, talking about how people just how they judge them too, and it's wrong to judge people. But now it's Dale's time. Dale's like, you know what? I'm going to rescue him. So we see Dale goes out there. He's walking out there in the woods. He sees one of the dead kids that got impaled, and then he finds Tucker, and Tucker's yelling like, "It's a trap! It's a trap! Don't come any closer!" And we see he hits the tripwire, and a spear freaking goes right through and like goes through his pants, like right underneath his junk. And I mean, I know I have to mention this because Sean's gonna love this quote. And we even see Dale at this point says, "Whew, I am glad I'm not hung."
I'm glad I'm not hung like a bear.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not hung like a bear because it just misses him. And thank God, because that was a close freaking call. So as this has all happened now, we see Chad and one of the girls that go back to the cabin. They jump in there and they find Allison alone. And they're ready to like burn down this whole entire place. And it's just Allison. And she's like, no, 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 no. Like they're nice. Like this is like their vacation home. Like you guys don't understand. It's not what it seems. And Chad's like, no, they're evil. And like we're saying, and they're looking at Allison and they're like, oh my God, like she's got Stockholm syndrome. Like it's when like the capture like thinks that, like the people capturing her are actually their friends and like falls in love with them. So they think Allison's literally going crazy and like sympathizing with them. And then we see Tucker and Dale burst into the door, and they're all ready to battle. But Allison's like, I suggest we all have tea and talk about it. And Tucker makes the great suggestion. He's like, I'll provide the finger sandwiches. Like, so friggin' good. But no, they're actually going to do this. They sit down and they pour tea. And
Dude, Chad is such a dickhead because he immediately goes, "Is that chamomile tea? That fucks with my asthma."
Yeah, I was going to say, we got to mention the quick chamomile tea.
And he's like, "No, it's Earl Grey. I love Earl Grey."
Yeah. So they're literally sitting down to have tea. Like this movie is so friggin' unhinged. And they're going to share each side. And Chad begins to talk. And we get some very important insight. Chad starts talking about 20 years ago. He starts bringing up the Memorial Day massacre and how his parents were actually killed in this and how his dad was killed. His mom was escaped. She was pregnant with him. She actually got institutionalized after first, he was born. So holy shit, like this is getting really heavy right now. Outside of the cabin, we see the other 2 friends. We see I think Sean called him Devontae Adams Jr.
Yeah.
And they're basically told how they were supposed to wait 15 minutes and run inside guns and blazes. They're watching all this. After Chad shares this whole story, Dale's just like, shit, man, like I'm sorry that like massacre happened, man, but like we're innocent. Like we had nothing to do with that. Like I don't know why like you get mad at us. And as this is happening, it almost seems like they're making progress. Like this is like a good little session right here. But the 2 others crash into the cabin, and one of them's got a weed whacker, and he goes to weed whack Tucker's face off, but Tucker misses, and they get the other girl, and they literally whack her face off. That's a weird sentence to say.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
That's no, yeah.
They whack her off.
They whack her off. So anyway, her face gets completely off. I'm not even sure how to say that. And then as Chad throws like something, he accidentally lights his other friend on fire. So this dude's like on fire right now. And you hear Tucker and Dale like, stop, drop, and stop, drop, and roll. The other
You hear
girl's like,
Dale
oh, this will
going, "Oh
help.
God, don't touch the curtains."
Yeah, don't touch the curtains. And the girl's like, oh, this will help. And I don't know, it was clearly it's like a jar of ethanol or something. She throws it on him. Oops. Dude is absolutely torched. Now the whole entire friggin' place is burning. They all run outside, narrowly escape this, and we have a giant explosion. We see Tucker and Dale and Allison outside, and they're looking back. They're like, oh my God, like we survived. And we see Chad, like his face
Rise
is
from
half,
the ashes.
yeah, with an axe. His face is half burnt now, and he is growling, laughing like a freaking lunatic, complete madman. He is
This
walking
like
out.
registered in my head that this is the madman from the opening credits of the movie. And the
Yes,
found
it literally
footage.
looks like exactly. It's like a flashback. It's like tying it all in together. Three of them, they jump into the truck, they drive away. It's all going to be good, but nope, of course, because they crash pretty friggin' bad. When they come to, we see Tucker and Dale kind of come to, shaking out the cobwebs and realize, holy shit, Allison's gone. Chad took Allison. We see Tucker gave Dale an incredibly nice emotional speech, pumping him up, telling him how great he's always been, tying it into frog catching days back when they were kids and everything. So, you know what? It's Dale time. Dale is inspired. Him and the dog run after him, and they run into an abandoned wood mill out in the middle of the woods. And we see Chad now. His face is all charred off, and he is tying Allison down on a giant freaking wood saw. Not great. And we see Dale now is gearing up. He gets in there. He's putting on like a helmet. He is getting like weapons on, and he is gearing up for a final battle. He finds her. He is trying to untie her. And as that's happening, he is attacked by Chad. We have an absolute epic battle. I mean, we got like chainsaw versus axe. Like it is incredible. So Dale's pulling off some superhero shit. He freaking like, all badass throws the axe sideways and it cuts Allison free. And thank God. So they both run, they knock Chad down. They both run to another room. And this in this other room now, we see old newspapers everywhere. And they're tying it all together now. They see
Dude,
some
it's
chamomile.
very disturbing.
Yeah. Yeah, and like they're reading all these papers and everything. It's all like about the massacre, all the chainsaw stuff. I mean, the massacre that happened 20 years
The
ago.
Memorial Day massacre. They see a
Yes.
newspaper clipping, and it says that Chad's mom wasn't actually like pregnant when she was there.
Yeah.
It says that she was, kidnapped and essayed and tortured, and that's how she became pregnant. And then they zoom in, Justin, and they look at the picture of the
Yep.
cops catching one of these hillbilly guys.
Yeah.
And who does he look exactly like?
So he literally looks exactly like Chad, and they realize like, holy shit, like Chad's dad was one of the hillbillies responsible for this whole entire massacre. So now when Chad runs in, they start trying to explain to Chad, like Chad, and how they say it is so freaking funny. It's like a serious moment. And they're trying to tell Chad, you're half hillbilly too, man. You're half hillbilly. And they're trying to explain to Chad like who his dad was and everything. But Chad is just, man, this dude's
He
gone
is
a complete
gone.
psycho. He is still trying to kill them. So Dale, quick thinking, you see him like throw all this powder at him, and he throws a chamomile tea at him. And you see Chad like sneezing, coughing, and he falls out the freaking window outside to his death. Let's fucking go. You see him
Dale
looking,
does the only right thing when he looks and just shuts the
yeah,
doors.
yeah, just shuts the doors. You see him dead on the ground, and then we see, let's fucking go. We see at a hospital scene, and we see Tucker. He's in the hospital bed, very excited because he's got his two fingers back on, and also
One of them is
dude. I can't even. They look at his fingers. One of them has got like the painted friggin' fingernail.
Who thought
Clearly,
that was his? Like,
how do they think that was his finger?
was it a
Clearly,
donated finger or was it like
clearly
Chloe's or something?
he's got a girl's finger reattached to him, but he's so excited to have it, and he basically is talking like Dale brings him a friggin' beer, most hillbilly thing ever, so awesome, and we basically see him like, oh,
He's got like a bow tie and shit on it too.
so great, and we basically say, him, hey, did you like how's that date with Allison and everything, and he tells him, hey, I got a bowling date with Allison, and we flash forward to the bowling alley. We see Dale with Allison, and very romantic moment. He gives her a present, and he gives her a pink helmet because she's always, getting her
She's
head
always
hit.
getting knocked out.
Yeah, and she basically is like, I feel the same way with you. We get a nice little kiss. Let's fucking go. Movie over.
Let's go.
What do you think?
Love this. Loved it. Justin, holy shit, what a wild ride, bro. this isn't like laugh out loud funny by any stretch of the imagination, but what it is what the fuck, why the fuck, how in the fuck type of funny. Like this is funny.
Hmm.
This isn't like, punny, giggles, like cheap comedy type funny. This isn't like a scary movie type funny. This is like very fucking well integrated into a horror comedy. I love the campy feels and the tropes throughout this entire movie. The chainsaw bee sting is hands down one of my favorite scenes, followed closely up by the Dale almost getting castrated trying to save Tucker and saying, I'm glad I'm not hung like a bear. I'm giving this movie an 8.1 out of 10. And this is truly in its own very special tier of horror comedy. Love
All
it.
right, let's go. That's kind of what I wrote my notes too. I wrote this is top tier horror comedy. Love this one too because like the cabin in anyone who likes like slashers, especially like the cabin in the woods stuff, this has got all the horror tropes in it. And the acting is like really, really good. And how like truly funny it is, it's incredible. And my other favorite thing about this is the message. This is the heartfelt message of don't judging people. I love the positive spin on it so much because I love how they judge them as crazy hillbillies, and they were trying to do the right thing a lot the whole entire time. Love it. So it's got a crazy, awesome, positive spin to it. Love it so much. I give this a 9 out of 10. I absolutely love this friggin' movie.
I
You
feel
got
like
any?
the more and more I watch it, the
Yeah,
higher and higher my rating is going to go. Because, like, I
same.
was watching it last night, and Kristen was like, what movie you watching? And I was like, Tucker and Dale. And she's like, oh, the one you said that was going to be funny. She's like, I really wanted to watch that with you. And I was like, well, I'm only about three-quarters of the way through, but I'm okay with watching this again and again and again. Like the
Dude,
rewatchability is going to be great on this movie.
that's my favorite thing too. And like I obviously am all about like positive vibe ship too. Every time I watch it, I like when they were looking at the newspapers and when it's all like death and everything. And there's also like it said like something about chili dogs. Their
Yeah,
perspective, they literally just singled and focused on the positive on that. Love it so much. I love the message about just like don't judging people. There's so much good in here, but at the same time, the awesome slasher vibes and everything. Yeah, God, this movie is it's so awesome. So awesome.
all right. So I got this might be the first horror movie where all the deaths are actually accidents,
Right?
except for the flashback scene. In the closing credits, they actually purposely misspelled construction foreman as construction foreman. A special DVD feature plays the movie from the college kids' perspective, in which Tucker and Dale are murderous villains.
Hmm.
Which I'm like, I think I actually might buy this on DVD just to watch that.
That would be cool.
That yeah, I think I would really like it. Alan, the guy who plays Tucker, came up with the idea to pour beer all over his face for the bee stings.
Hmm.
And like that is involving yourself with the character and thinking like this is something that he would do. The giver hat is actually a nod to Larry the Cable Guy with his get her done hat.
Let's go.
The nail gun is used as a weapon. It is actually hooked up to an air compressor, and Dale can be seen holding down the safety tip on the front of the gun with his fingers. Without both of those actions, the nail gun would not fire. The handling of this device is actually very accurate.
I get the tagline.
What kind of tagline is that?
Worst tagline ever. My bad. All right. So I get the tagline is this year spring break is cut short. My favorite thing ever is I don't know how much if you love the movie Dodgeball,
Love
but
it. If you can dodge a wrench.
dude, like the fact you see Tucker's in that movie, it's my
Yeah.
favorite thing ever. Dude,
Yeah.
Tucker
He
is
plays the pirate
Steve the
guy.
pirate. I
Yeah.
love that so much that he was in that because I love that character. I quote to this day, and I love that he is in that. And they also wrote that the intensity had intention. I can't tie him a mess, dude. Don't get the flu. Intentional parody homage to the Chainsaw Massacre was when he was running with the chainsaw from the bees. They also paid homage to the original Halloween after Chad fell out the window and they like looked on the ground. And that's all I got.
So Dale cooking pancakes for Allison is
Oh
actually a homage to Eli Roth, his first film, Cabin Fever
yeah,
from
cabin fever.
2002. Um, when the pretty blonde girl in the pink shirt is doused in blood. This is also possibly a homage to Feast from 2005. And a scene where the character is running with a chainsaw is clearly a parody homage to the Texas Chainsaw, which we covered in the notes. But that is everything I've got. If you have nothing more, I will let you go down some thermoflu and go hibernate in the steam bath.
Yeah, amen.
All right, X-Step Slash. I'm
Oh,
Hacky. This guy up here trying not to die.
just Justin, hell, best day ever.
All right, go pass out somewhere. Yo!
Oh, we're out.